While a lot of people spent the launch of Pokémon Legends Z-A looking the other way, I'm glad that just like Arceus, it had me happy to play anyway. Z-A is a feast for the Pokémon fan that just wants a fun game to play. While Arceus was an open world about exploring vast historical lands, Z-A introduces a more city setting, still large in scale and even larger in things to do, with plenty of quests from its city dwellers to give you a sense of city life during the day and then battles at night, with Pokémon centers in its Z-A Royale supporting a familiar gameplay loop while still ready to satisfy the Pokémon Legends fan with a proper story. It solidified my love for these Legend games and has me excited for when we hear about the next one in another great reimagined Pokémon for the JRPG story fan that did just what a Pokémon Legends game should do in its 30-hour campaign. Instead of starting off at your house, Z-A's character starts a long way from home, arriving in Lumiose City for a sightseeing trip certain to turn into something more. They meet their pinky blonde rival in the middle of making a video for a place called Hotel Z-A and are about to help out when your bag gets stolen by a sneaky Pancham and its trainers that naturally mean you need to battle. After choosing your starter and showing some Poké prowess, you get to keep your little dude and stay at the hotel where you meet its eclectic group of trainers and join the city's Z-A Royale, a contest celebrating Lumiose being a city full of Pokémon by having trainers train all the way from A to Z to be the very best Mega Pokémon trainer. Throwing Pokémon centers, rogue megas, and the mysterious happenings centered around a legendary, and Z-A sets itself up to tell a new Poké story with enough core Pokémon aspects and new conveniences to make this journey feel just as modern as its big city. Legends Z-A has you battling up its ranks, bringing battle to the forefront, whereas more about exploration in the Lost one. It ends up having its own gameplay loop once you get into it. Usually new parts of the story begin with pacifying Mega Pokémon, finding your next opponent for the Royale, having to earn tickets to get the right to fight, and then your big battle with one of these cool and quirky gym leader style trainers that gatekeep the next part of the story, complete with a TM given after, with characters much more memorable than those of Arceus thanks to being a mix of streamers to gang leaders to make for a colorful cast with equally colorful Pokémon. I began my journey getting my own party together in its wild zones where Pokémon are confined for city safety, and while the world is overall big in scale, Pokémon being mostly in these parts make them easier to find, although Pokémon also being scattered around the city keep that feeling of being a city full of them. For the most part, catching and making your party is still standard Pokémon fare, although now you can knock their HP to 0 and still have a small window of time to catch them that feels a lot friendlier, with the only thing that didn't feel friendly is the fact that once Mega Pokémon are introduced, some Pokémon feel pointless to catch as they just won't be able to cut through the damage barrier of Megas. It's a small sacrifice, as also the epicness of Mega evolving mid-battle does feel really cool, so it's kind of a hit or miss system depending on which Pokémon I wanted to use. Luckily, maybe 5 out of my 6 starting group ended up having a Mega evolution thanks to the sheer amount there are to get, so everyone should be able to find at least a few of their favorites to be able to go beyond and stand up to other Mega Pokémon too. I found myself often catching Pokémon and doing the Poké Life quests of the townfolk by day that give a good look into the idea of these lives spent with Pokémon, then battling by night, making this very much feel like a city that never sleeps, as if you want to enter the Z-A Royale and progress the story, you have to subject your character to sleepless nights of battle that the coffee running through the city must power. Battles in Z-A are an ATB system without a visible timeline, which occasionally led to button mashing on my controller to pop items or attacks, only for Z-A to let me when my invisible turn actually came. I can mostly see why they did it this way though. It looks clean and mostly feels like an active system where attacks charge up when you're in its rhythm, and paired with your character also having a duck and roll at Pokemon attacks feels pretty thrilling, creating an interesting juggle between protecting your Pokemon and yourself in its fast-paced Mega battles. Best of all, it still has that basic Pokemon in 3D feel, with the system accessible no matter what was your last Pokemon game, as you're still only using 4 moves, and with some of these moves still extending to helping you on the map, with doing things like breaking boulders and getting Mega Crystals, it always feels fun to explore and battle with your chosen Pokemon at your side, in a world with Pokemon that spreads good vibes of battle and loving your team in its monster-based story campaign. I was surprised to look back at Arceus recently and see personally I barely remember any of its characters and much of it at all, especially since I gave it a high rating at the time. I think Z-A will end up being more memorable though thanks to its lovable group of dorky characters, with everyone from Lita and that Mega Starmie, cool streamer Kanari who I need a plushie of, the memeable Corbo, and the fact that you can personally dress just as cool and stylish as all of them, making this world feel even more colorful than its initial trailer. And in its attempt to make the city feel like a character itself, itself, I think at the very least Lumiose feels more memorable. You can't fly around the world like you could in Arceus and other games that go for that Breath of the Wild vibe, but you can parkour around its scaffolding that you even need to do for the main game, making these structures feel like a lifestyle rather than just challenges that makes its exploration feel unique. The city is also littered with coffee shops and photo spots in this ever-shareable Pokémon game that gives fans plenty to play with and talk about with its European city vibes, and as a single player, I still haven't tried its online mode, although I'm sure it's appreciated too, but even let someone like me feel cool things I want to show in its world that feels cool to be in. If you're a Pokémon fan who can get past its lack of voice acting, stand in modern Pokémon graphics that look good even on my regular Switch in handheld, and don't mind a story that tips the balance of being silly and heartwarming like the old anime, it's a modern Pokémon JRPG story that takes clear inspiration from modern greats like Persona 5 in this new feeling world, with plenty of replayability thanks to a ton of quests and the usual Pokémon options of catching them all and finding legendaries. I ended up feeling satisfied after my 30 hours, probably thanks to the fact I must have done 20 to 30 side quests just on my way to doing things, and these quests help reiterate the silly feeling of this Pokémon journey that made me soak in an amount of the world I feel happy with. I'm still loving the Legends series, and with this one being a totally different feeling, I wonder what the next Legend games will give us, but for now, Z-A might not be everyone's cup of coffee, but for me, it's a quirky city-based Pokémon that made me love playing in this different wide world. If you're a Pokémon fan who wants somewhere fun to mess around in and to catch Pokémon in a modern setting, Pokémon Legends Z-A is a great option for anyone with nostalgia for the series. My time playing with its sweet group of city kids gave me a lot of silliness as I spent day and night working towards being a top trainer in the big city, with thrilling boss battles and mega evolutions that captured the fun of Pokémon again, especially with getting mega Pokémon being something totally new to me as the focus of this Legends story. It gave me exactly what I personally look for in a Pokémon story, which is a charming world themed around the gotta catch 'em all realness that I've loved in it since the 90s, and as a current fan of silly JRPGs and good stories, I'm glad Z-A could scratch all those itches in its own way, and I'm looking forward to the light fun the next Legends journey will bring. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if you tried Pokémon Legends Z-A, and if you have, what did you think of it? You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!